we have a 1941 Ford COE, and this old girl's been sitting for about 60 years, I'd say. She may be a 41 to 47, but we're just going to call her a 1941. And as you can see, she's not in too bad a shape. She does have the good old Radicus Giganticus package here. This door was stuck, and I got it open earlier today. You can see his acorns are falling out, and if I open the door quick enough, we might be able to catch a look at him. Okay, I was wrong. He has already flew the coop. He is somewhere in this vehicle because I seen him earlier. He's only about a foot long, so he's on the smaller side of the Radicus Giganticus family. He's got a little tunnel that goes down through there. But this old girl does have a flathead V8. She has a 2-speed rear end, and we're going to get her running, and I'm going to do everything I can to get it to move around. I'm not sure. I think it's in gear. I don't think it's the rear end locked up because when I was pulling it on the trailer, one wheel was going forward, one wheel was going backwards. So I'm going to say she's just stuck in gear and the motor's locked up. And, well, she's got good tires on her. These kind of hold air. The front ones tell a different story. And on this side, you can see just the extent to this rat's nest. He has piled all this in here. She does have a good old flathead V8, which is awesome because most of these older trucks from the early 40s I get have the inline 6. And this old girl has a good old flathead V8. And the rat has built a very, very nice luxury mansion here, as you can tell. I'm not sure if any of the plugs are rusted off. I don't think they are, because they seem pretty sturdy. But we'll get all this out of here in a minute and see what she looks like. I'm not sure on the mileage. I'll crawl up in here for you guys, and we'll see how many miles she's got. It looks like 58,182. That's not too bad. She has a little bit of wire tape there. I'm not sure how long that's been on there. It looks fairly new, or maybe it's just because no sunlight gets in here. These are petrified, so they should be time period. And we can't check the oil or anything because it's, you know, probably 2 feet buried under some rat poop and acorns and blackberry bushes and leaves and sticks. Well, she's in pretty good shape, a little bit of rust here and there. And fortunately enough, I was able to get this thing because I've wanted one of these for a long time just because they're cool looking. She did have a jug of antifreeze in her that's brand new. It's a little dry rotted. We're going to pour that into something else because that stuff ain't cheap anymore. But all in all, she's in good shape. I didn't check the radiator juice. I doubt there's any. Yeah, there's nothing down in there. Oh, there's another rat nest or a bird nest up here. We might get 2 Radicus Giganticus for the price of 1 today. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to move that other truck out of the way and scoop all this stuff out of here. And we'll get to that motor and see how stuck she is. To evict the rat, I guess you would say. And he's not going to be too happy. Well, there's some glass. You don't want to breathe any of this stuff in. It's probably not good for you. Whew. Well, I'm going to let the dust clear, and I'll get the rest of that out and get back with you guys. Tractor buckets later. I'm just going to say 2 tractor buckets because I've already dumped 1. There's probably enough left in here and on the ground to fill this bucket. There's a wrench there, and the shifter was in gear, so I'm going to say the motor's locked up pretty good. The engine on this side is really clean around the plugs because this side cover was on and it's stuck. I can't get it out just yet, so we can clean the rest of it off the engine. This side over here, no rusted plugs off, and well, it's got one of them horns on it. I didn't notice it had a horn till just now. And all in all, it looks pretty good. The battery cables are still on it. It's still got the jack behind the seat. I took the seat out and shook the rat stuff out of it. But all in all, it don't look bad, and the floors really ain't even rusted, which is surprising. I'm going to go ahead, dump this bucket, and we'll push her forward and see if it was the rear end that's locked up, or see if maybe the engine's locked up. I think it's the engine because the shifter was in gear, but you never know. That rear end might just be locked up. Side cover to move out of the way, and now we can check the oil. It's got a fancy oil dipstick here. I ain't ever seen one exactly like this. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of rust on it. A lot of bit of rust right there. Or maybe that's just that paraffin wax. You can see where there's been some water in it because you can see the moisture up on the top of the stick. And it smells like old oil and old gas. Not too bad. You can see also the glass here for the fuel pump. Looks like it's full of something. It may just be that color just because, but I'm not too sure. Well, it should be good and warm now, so it could have been a little bit warmer. It ain't got exactly the right sizzle. Well, I'm going to do that to the rest of them. I'll get back with you guys and we'll see what they look like. You guys can somewhat see. I heated them up, so maybe they'll come out of here fairly easy. This one I've already broke loose, kind of, just to see if we'd heated them enough. Well, it's still in there pretty good. There we go. Well, honestly, that looks really good down in there. At least on this one, just a bunch of carbon on it and no rust. That's a good start. Well, there's a little bit of, no, maybe not. I wonder why she's locked up so good then. Let's see. This one, no? That's just carbon on there. I figured it'd be rusty. There's a little bit down there at the bottom of the thread, but that wouldn't have been into the cylinder, so that ain't a problem. That's strange. And it could be that the water pumps and stuff are locked up, and that's why it was skidding the back tires and when I pulled it on the trailer, and why it's locked up. Just hopefully it don't have a loose rod or something. And who knows, the other side may be all nice and rusty. This one. No? No rust on that one either. There is a little bit of red rust down in this cylinder, and it has a open, no? That'd be the intake. So it's got an open exhaust valve on that one. It's got a little bit of that red rust in there. But still, nothing looks bad, which is strange. Normally you see some rust on them. This one, this is the one. We found the culprit, at least on this side. If you look there, this one has that red rust on it, and it is a darker red rust, so it's been there for a while, I guess. And down in there, it has a open exhaust valve. Maybe this one don't have an open valve on this one, but this one has an open exhaust valve, and it's got quite a bit of the red rust down in there. That's the one that's locked up. You can hopefully see down in there. I would bore scope it, but since these flatheads are a flathead, you can't really get the bore scope down in there. But if you look, you can see that open exhaust valve and a little bit of that rust on there. This one on this side's the culprit, and this one looks like it has a little bit of rust, but nothing like this one. I'm sure she'll come loose anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and take the ones out on that side, and I'll give you guys an update on all the plugs on this side. And as you can see, this side looks a whole lot better than the other side, because the rat wasn't nesting on this side, really, because all the rat poop and stuff was on that side. So all the pee and stuff made them plugs a lot harder to get out. And as you can see, none of these have any rust on them. They do have quite a bit of carbon and probably burn oil, but that's not a big deal. This side looks really good. I'm going to go ahead, we're going to mix up our transmission fluid and acetone, dump it down in here, and we'll let her set for a few days. But so far, she's looking real good. Any dirt daubers down in there? No, don't look like it. I found on these flatheads, the best thing you can do is pour some of this ATF transmission fluid mixture down the carburetor, because it sets on the back side of the valves, and if the valves are stuck, it helps them come loose a lot better. And I'm sure the carburetor's got a leak. We'll pour about 2 quarts, or I think there's a quart in these, down the old carburetor, and that should do the trick. Is the carburetor locked up here? It seems to be. Stopped dumping that stuff down in there because it was filling up, and I did notice that there was some dirt dauber down in there I had to get out. For some reason, I guess you couldn't see it down in there, but it was right down in there, and there was a dirt dauber nest. So I'm not too sure how long this air cleaner had been on there. I thought it had probably been on there since it was parked, since it was all rusty, but it's had to been off there for a while at some point. So now we'll finish pouring that in there. Also, the carburetor is pretty good and locked up. Hopefully the transmission fluid and acetone will break the old carburetor throttle blades free. For some reason, that one's taking a while. We're gonna add just a little bit more acetone here because it's a little bit too thick, I think. A little bit too much transmission fluid in there. That's about right now. There we go. That one's full. The truck's been sitting for about a day, maybe a little longer. I'm gonna go ahead and push it back and forth with the tractor and see if we can break the motor loose, because the ends of these flathead starters like to break off, and I don't want to have to pull this one off if it works. So we're gonna go ahead and just push it forwards, pull it backwards, and it shouldn't take too much to get it loose because it didn't look bad down in there. Not too bad on you guys. I got the starter hooked up. We're gonna see if it works. I got the good old real estate sign I found in a car sitting there, so maybe it'll be a splatter shield if the engine does break loose, because they make a mess. Let's go ahead and hopefully it just breaks loose, but I don't know. The starter should have more torque on it than pushing it, but well, really? That easy? No. Oh, it's stuck again. Huh. Does it have a... That was too easy. Oh, man. You guys okay over there, or did it get you? It probably got you. I guess the starter just had the right ugga-duggas and knocked her loose, or maybe I loosened her up, pushing her forward and pulling her backwards, but I thought that maybe the 2-speed was in between gears. The 2-speed's in gear, so I'm guessing it was just that stuck, and maybe after pushing on it, and maybe that starter had just enough thump to knock it loose. I'm not sure. Or it could have been due to cutting them belts, but I cut them, then tried it again, so I'm not sure. We just got lucky is all I'll say. I think we might have a few stuck valves because it doesn't seem to have the compression it really should. It should have been spraying that stuff all over the place. But we'll check the compression here in a minute. And this is why you always want one of them in between you and the cylinders, or you'll be covered in transmission fluid and acetone. But all in all, we need to We'll need to change the oil here in a minute, but we'll go around, see if she's got compression in all the cylinders. And, well, we got some points that are a pain in the butt to get to up there, and probably some really nasty oil down there. Somewhat see, it's kind of hard to film in these cab overs, I guess. We're going to go ahead and see what's got compression and what doesn't. No compression in this one. No compression in this one. Very little in that one. That one's pretty good. So we'll call it cylinder number 3 and 4 on this side are locked up. Well, not locked up, the valves are stuck. And I finally got this valve over here loose. It took forever, but it's loose now. Had to beat it down a whole bunch of times. This is about the handiest, dandiest little tool I've made for working on these. It's just one of the Harbor Freight screwdrivers bent, and it fits in there, and you can beat on the top of that valve to get it to close down. And this screwdriver here, once it got lower on the valve stem, I could get to it with this because it got stuck pretty good because it had some rust on it. I'm going to say at one point the intake wasn't covered. It got some water in there. That's why she was locked up more than likely. And the side over there had a few stuck intake valves. I got them loose. That side has 3 times the compression that this side does. So maybe this side will pick back up. But as you can see here, she's got real good compression out of this one. We just got the valve to close good on. Thing we got to do is get down here to this distributor. These are a pain in the butt. They're called a crab shell or clam shell or something distributor cap, and they're always a pain to clean the points on. We need to break the water pumps loose. This one spins, but the other one on the other side's locked up. The fan spins, and I think we need a new belt because I cut the old one. Every time I mess with one of these distributor caps like this to clean the points, this is the worst design that Ford ever put on a distributor cap. It's that clamshell or crab, whatever they call this thing. And it's a pain in the butt because the spark plug wires have to go into there and through this Bakelite piece and into this other Bakelite piece, and the points are inside here somewhere. And you got to get to them. A lot of times I just take them off. May end up taking this one off since the belt's stuck in there that I cut off anyway. But them are a pain in the butt. Pulled the distributor off the old girl, and as you can see, these caps are still on here. And the reason for this is they are seized in there. You often hear me say dissimilar metals like cast iron and aluminum will seize together, but this is Bakelite and cast aluminum. And if you look, it's corroded there, and that will not come out of there. I've beat on it, and I'm afraid I'm going to break the caps, but probably going to have to do that. Or I do have one of these. It's a fancy distributor for a motor that we're building at the shop, and we may have to throw that on here because I've been messing with this it took me an hour to get it off, and I don't know how long I've been beating on it with a dad-blame screwdriver inside there trying to knock them caps off. But I'll get back with you guys in a second, and if we can't get that to do what it's supposed to do, I'll throw the other one on. I just needed to beat on it a little bit harder, and I got that out of there without breaking it. This one's still in there, but it should come out now. And if you look, these things are neat. They run off this wheel in here, and that's what gives it the spark, which I think's neat, and your coil's up here. The points are pretty rough in there. They use a dual set of points. I'm gonna go ahead and knock the other one out, clean the points, get back with you guys. We'll throw it on there, and hopefully we'll have it running here in a minute. That distributor back on there. It's where it needs to be. Everything's cleaned on it. I just have to finish cleaning the old distributor caps here. You want to clean in here and these things here, because when the old rotor goes by, every time it sparks, it takes off a microscopic amount of metal. And sometimes if you don't take that off there, the spark won't get past it. It's highly unlikely, but every now and again you'll have a problem where if that's not shiny all the way around and you leave that divot in it, too much of it, it just won't get spark. I'm going to finish cleaning up, throw them back on there, and we'll throw some plugs in it and see if we got spark. Go ahead and change the oil in the old girl. I had to heat the old drain plug up, so she's about 9 million degrees. And I figure there's probably quite a bit of water in here. Ooh, that's warm. See what she looks like. Oh, well, it's you can see all the chunks. That's from the good old paraffin wax oil. Yeah, that ain't too good. Ain't too good at all. Yeah, that's pretty watery. Let's There. Now she's draining a little bit better. I'll let that drain for the next, probably, on this one's gonna take 14 to 17 business days, and I'll get back with you. It took about 30 minutes for all that to drain out of there, and there was probably 5 or 6 quarts in there. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and throw some new oil in it, and we'll see what she does when we whirl her over. See if she's gonna fire off. I got all the plugs in there, I got all the plug wires hooked up, so everything should be ready to go. Well, we need to hook the coil up. I'm not sure if the coil on this thing's gonna work or not. It is, you know, 80 years old. Ooh, I think it will. Let's give her a whirl. Cross your fingers. No way. She gonna run, I think, pretty easily. She is sparking there because one of her plug wires is bad. I think we're losing a lot of our spark to bad plug wires. I'm gonna give this another go. You guys are kind of at a weird angle. I taped the affected spark plug, so we'll spark plug wire. So hopefully they're not gonna arc out, and maybe she'll run a little bit better. She does have a pretty good vacuum leak, but we'll fix that in a second. Give the old girl another whirl. I went ahead, the coil went bad, that's why it quit running. Then the spark plug wires that are in these tubes were arcing out inside the tubes, so I pulled all them out of there, put them back on there, and also I had to change the coil. I didn't have a coil that fit in the top, so I got that one where it's working in there. I just jammed a wire down in there and hot wired the points and stuff, so she should fire off, no guarantee. Okay, she's trying. We gotta switch the cap on this one because I don't know what that's about, but they changed them out, and these bad boys right here do not spray good, whatever that thing is. Come on, old girl. I'm gonna let her, we didn't got her warm yet, but she doesn't have much compression on this side, so she's kind of only running on 4 cylinders, I think. Or maybe 5 or 6. Whew. barking out anywhere, so that's a good sign. There we go. You can idle these flatheads down to where they're just barely hitting and spinning if they're running right. She does have water in her, by the way. There's just no fan going yet, but she's not getting hot. Listen how good she sounds now. I got it in some gear. The clutch was stuck, so I just kind of shoved it into gear. That's what all that grinding was about. She seems to be a one-tire fryer at the moment. Boy, she'll dig a hole pretty good, won't she? I think I need to put some air in the front tires. That could be our dilemma. I'm not too sure. I think that drum on that side's catching again, but she does move. Well, the gears work at least. The old girl wouldn't move yesterday's because, well, the front tires were flat and the drums are kind of stuck. It took me a long time to get them off the back. You can see that tire's a little low, but I got the front ones to the back and we're running singles on the back. And I gotta say, she looks pretty good up on some tires that hold air. I got the one on this side too. It took forever to get them lug nuts to break loose. About melted the old impact down, but we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot and see if we can drive her around. I did break one of the good old hammers here, broke the end rod off of it, and I broke an extension, but all in all, we got them off and we're gonna go see if she'll move. Also, them have a warranty, so no big deal. Take her for a spin now. That drum now moves. It took, as you can see through here, we left a pretty good drag mark till we got to the good old pavement, and about 5 or 10 times back and forth on there, it decided to come loose instead of skidding. So hopefully she's got enough power to push it around, and we're going to take her for a spin around the lot now. running and driving. It took a while, but I did get it to go into second gear a little bit ago, and the reason it wouldn't at first is, well, I let off the gas too much, I think, and that drum was still dragging pretty good, so it took a lot of torque to push it around. So it took going around here in circles about 5 million times in first gear, but now she runs, she drives, and, well, she was setting for 60 years, and I got to say, that old flathead just kept running better and better the longer it was running. But all in all, we got her running, got her driving, and she's a neat old truck. But thank you guys for watching. Please consider maybe leaving a like or subscribing, because we got a lot more cool videos coming to the channel, and we got a lot more cool stuff to get running. And hopefully you guys will see the Diamond T and CUDA here pretty soon, but no promises. See you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.